See the law of this jungle, it's as old and as real as the sky. And the wolf that abides will prosper, but a wolf that breaks it will die. You see out here in this jungle, we run it forward and back. For the strength of the pack is the wolf, and the strength of the wolf is the pack. I used to run with the pack, nowadays I run for the pack. Represent from the front to the back, balls in my heart, my city on the map. I was in the field, you're sitting on the bench. See me in the gym, rep till I'm bench. Sweat till I win, that's a victory stench. Yeah, we stay ready for the war, man, I settle in the score. Settle it. Right now I'm with the hype, I ain't in it for the light. I was down on the ground, now I'm up for the fight. I'm on it. Seaside at the dark, now it's into the light. Out for more, down for my team. I wake up and I'm chasing a dream. Done dirt, but my crep stay clean. Send for me, rude boy, how you mean? Look at my count with the verses. Clean sheet in him, and I'm on a verse with. Prize fighter, I'm taking the purses. Deathmatch and your family in hearses. The law of this jungle, we run it forward and back. For the strength of the pack is the wolf, and the strength of the wolf is the pack. You see out here in this jungle, we run it forward and back. For the strength of the pack is the wolf, and the strength of the wolf is the pack.
Very good afternoon and welcome to the home of football. I'm Mikey Burrows. Alongside me is the Hall of Famer Andy Thompson, and as you can see, making his Matchday Live Extra debut, the former Wolves. I mean, what do we call you, Wardy? Like former striker turned fullback turned he'll play wherever he wants.
Utility man, I think that's what I used to say. But
yeah,
I think left back. I'll go with left back.
Okay, former Wolves left back, Stephen Ward, continuing our run of pretty much only having former fullbacks as pundits these days. Wardy had an incredibly famous moment. We can't get you on without showing it. It is that goal at Anfield. You can't get tired of seeing this, pal.
No, I don't actually, but I get tired of seeing the hairdo I had and how young I looked. But listen. Unbelievable night for me, and something that's stayed with me forever, really. And I suppose it's nice to be remembered for some good when you've been here. So always have that link to Wolves, and that goal seems to be the thing that comes up all the time.
I mean, you actually played up front in this game, but you haven't played up front for years, so it makes that finish all the more impressive.
Yeah, no, listen, I obviously signed as a striker, and I think we had a bit of a striker crisis at that time, a bit of an injury crisis. So Mick ended up putting me back up top. And I think the most disappointing factor of the night was I think Sylvan got man of the match. So I was absolutely gutted with that. But great night for me. And something that I'll never forget.
I'm not sure there's anybody in the current squad that we could see that could transition from a forward role to a defensive role in the way that you did. Tomo, let's talk about the last game. And then we'll get some thoughts on the Premier League situation as is. A win the other night. There was a gamble in there in terms of the squad that he picked and how strong he went and trying to get a bit of confidence in there. Did it pay off in the end for you?
Well, they got the result that they wanted. I thought the first half, particularly, they played well. So, I think that they commanded the game, and so, in the way that they played, they should have. Again, we'll talk about the penalty if you want to, but at the end of that would have made it 3-0 to us. And look, it's a result that we needed. It was a result that we needed to get, especially with the Premier League games that we'd lost. And we needed to get a win, and we got one. Second half wasn't great. Preston had opportunities to get themselves back into the game. Fortunate enough that they didn't get it. But look, we just got to be more creative in that top third. Look, so we got a good squad, so we've got a good team, and we just got to try and be a little bit more clinical, a bit more creative in that top third, and just have a go for it. So, I was just talking off air with Woody just about when we go down the wide areas and we're outside the box, and we end up passing the ball back to our centre halves. And I'd just like one of us just to have a gamble. Neto, that was the kind of thing that he did when he come into the side, and I'd like to see more of that again.
Wardy, it's that element, isn't it, of you need to start winning games first and foremost. Performances haven't been bad, but it's a different thing, isn't it, to just get over the line in a game, and hopefully that can inspire them to carry it forwards.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that's why the win in midweek will be massive, not for just the players, but as a club, you want to get that winning feeling back. I think myself and Thomas spoke off air about make it difficult for teams when they come here, make them defend, make them earn anything that they take away from Molineux. And I think sometimes maybe Wolves are a little bit guilty of trying to score that perfect goal all the time. Sometimes, Thomas said, just get the ball in the box. Make defenders defend. You might get a deflection, it might fall to one of your players, and it might take a scrappy goal just to get you that result. So, listen, like we said, performances have been good. They've deserved more. It's just getting over that line and turning them performances into points.
Is there pressure on them today, Tomo, to follow it up? But I mean, there'll be no excuses, will there, if the players are tired or anything, having played in midweek? They've been given the opportunity to play themselves into form.
Well, we had that extra day as well. I think, was it Newcastle played on the Wednesday as well? So it's, look, they need results. So, look, we've got Bournemouth midweek, we've got Southampton next weekend, and then we've got 4 massive games against Liverpool, West Ham, Chelsea, and Man City. So, look, you've got 4 massive games to come after that. And the longer we stay down there, the more pressure will build. And we've seen it before where confidence can sometimes affect it. But they've just got to believe in what they're doing. They've just got to believe that they can get results. And similar to last year, where they played good football but couldn't get the results in the first 3 games, then all of a sudden it just started to click. And they've got to do that again today. But as Wardy was just saying there, we've got to make it difficult for us to beat. We've got to try and be difficult, but we've got to be able to put those balls into areas that we can actually get something out of the game as well.
Well, I wondered Wardy's views on this, because you've been involved in a decade ago in both successful and unsuccessful Premier League seasons, and not just for Wolves either. In the last 10 years, you've had some incredible times in your career as well. So what goes on in terms of, or how important is squad harmony, is confidence, is morale, is belief in what you're being asked to do and going out there and executing?
Oh, it's absolutely everything. I think you touched on it there. I think they've got a good harmony in the squad. They've got a good team spirit. I think you can see the way the lads are together. But, I think most importantly is just getting that first win. Like I said, I've been involved in relegation battles. And that squad harmony or that togetherness does get you that extra result. It might, earn you a draw away from home. And I think that's the one thing, this Wolves team, they're very easy on the eye to watch. They play some really attractive football. Maybe there just has to be that toughness a little bit. Maybe even, for example, when they go 1-0 down, how do they get back into a game? And, it's vital they do get points on the board as quick as possible, because, when you get 10, 11 games into the season, you start figuring out who might be in a relegation battle, and you don't want to be that side down there, because once you're in there and you're in that battle, it's very, very difficult to get out of it. And, we had that at Burnley for years. There was times we started slow when you're playing catch up constantly, and then it becomes about having to get a result that maybe you're not expected. You might have to get a result against one of the top 4, and it's never easy to do that, but you don't want to have to rely on having to pick up a result like that. So listen, it's early days in the season. Like we said, performances have been really good, just maybe haven't got rewarded with the points on the board. So they'll still be confident in that dressing room. They'll believe in the manager's process. But the best way of getting that belief and breeding that confidence even higher is just to get over the line and get that win. And they'll be confident going into the game today. And I think at Molineux we have to be really, really difficult to beat. We have to make this a fortress, as it has been over the last few years. Had some massive results over the last few years, and had some massive results when I was here in my time, because that's what this place can do. So hopefully it starts today, and hopefully the lads can put on a performance and get rewarded with a good result.
We all hope so. More from Stephen Ward and Andy Thompson to come. We'll look back on a classic meeting between these two, and also we will hear from Raul Jimenez in just a second. But first, let's take a look back at the best from Tuesday night. That's his name too, an illustrious list. He's played a lovely ball in behind here for Rain Ainouri into the penalty area, squares it across, simple tap in. Raul Jimenez is there. The Mexican's up and running for the season, and Wolves strike early in the Carabao Cup.
Well, there you go. We talk about runners off the ball, and we've just saw it there with Ainouri just getting behind the defence. And it's nice to see us actually passing to somebody across the box and actually putting it in the net. But it was all about the runners. So look, and we talk about people on the ball. If they can see runners, then they'll try and play. They've tried to do it a couple of times already down the right side, and it's worked down this left side. But a simple tap-in for Jimenez.
Coutinho gets on with it quickly, wide to Traore. Traore up against Johnson, right hand side of the penalty area, clips across in, Jimenez header! Oh, straight to the goalkeeper. Semedo, Jimenez gets a second attempt, plays it wide on the right hand side to Traore. Traore, another chance to cross, plays it in short to Semedo, back to Traore, volleys it! Oh, goodness me!
What a goal. What a goal.
Adama Traore with a stunner! Add that to the highlight reel. Wolves 2, Preston 0. Absolutely sensational.
Well, you're taking that off too, don't you? I don't care who you are, no keeper saving that.
There's Dendonka or Semedo on the right hand side. 20 yards from goal, back infield to Matinho. Clips a delightful ball in. Hee-Chan Rang was brought down. That's a penalty, Wolves. Right-footed, couple of short steps, strikes in, it's saved! Low down to his right-hand side. It's a good stop, but it didn't have a huge amount of power in it. It's a little bit loose from Wolves, but Matinho and Nunez, they've lost it. And Preston up towards the edge of the penalty area. Opportunity, and they've got one back.
Well, I'll tell you what. That's what you didn't want it to happen. Yeah.
It's a super finish. Low, left-footed into the near post. And suddenly it's game on at Molineux. Wolves 2, Preston 1. Nouri's corner, left-footed from the right-hand side. He's a deep on. Kilman's had a brilliant save. Diving to his right-hand side. Nouri with the corner, left-footed from the left-hand side. Plenty of options in the penalty area. Goes in high. Good header by Collins, but he couldn't keep it down. Here's Cunningham for the away side. Clever ball forwards to McCann. On again into the penalty area. Powett's ball across, and it's into the side netting. It should be 2-2.
Raul, congratulations. First win and your first goal of the season. Is it good to be back?
Yeah, it's really good to be back. Starting 11 and winning our first game in the cup. So it's nice to be back and scoring again.
How was your recovery period? Is it nice to be now back and playing? Do you feel fully fit, fully ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm fit. Ready to start scoring again. To be there with the team, helping. Every time I'm gonna be in the team, I'm gonna do the best for us.
Talk us through your goal celebration. Where did the inspiration come from? It's amazing.
Well, I was planning since the pre-season, having this kind of things. So I hope I can score more and do it more times.
Well, in pre-season we saw it first with the eye patch. This time you've had a hook. What's next? Is there going to be a parrot on the shoulder?
You need to wait to wait for me to score again, and let's see what's coming next.
I'm excited. Adama scored an incredible goal again this evening as well, and his first one back since he returned from loan. Are you pleased for your teammate?
Yeah, of course. He deserves it. He has been training hard. He has been involved in all that we do, so it's good for him to be in the score sheet again.
Into the next round of the Carabao Cup. Is it too early to say how far can we go?
Yeah, it's early, but we put some targets before we start, so we want to achieve we want to achieve them, and well, we started with a good mood, going well, and we want to go as far as we can.
Well, fingers crossed. Congratulations again, Raul, and thank you very much.
Thank you. See you.
Raul Jimenez getting his first goal of the season. We'll talk about him in a second. That's the lineup for today. Jose Sarr returns in goal. There is a first league start of the campaign for Nelson Semedo, who we think is going to play at right back, with Johnny switching to left back. Collins and Kilman continue in the centre of defence. Nunez, Matinho and Neves, now the main three in midfield. Guedes, Jimenez and Neto are the front three. And again, a strong-looking bench with Nuri, Pedence, Hwang, Totti amongst them, Dendoncker, Traore and young Chem Campbell making up the list as well. Let's talk about the man up top then. Just heard from him there, Tomo. First of all, on this goal, let's start on the positive. He was in the right place at the right time. It's important for goal scorers to get goals, and that hopefully should give him the boost that he needs, right?
Well, you're hoping so. As I touched on earlier, I still think he should have took the penalty. As our number 9, as our goal scorer, I was very surprised that he handed the ball over to Wang for him to take the penalty. But again, so like whatever's come to it or whatever decision was made, it was down to him. He didn't seem like he was flustered by it. But as we just saw there for the goal, as you've seen there, a tap in for him. Okay, it's a simple ball. But if he knows that ball's going to come into him, or he knows that there's going to be a delivery from the wide areas, he's going to get into those areas. He's going to cause a problem for teams. Because he's good in the air, so he's got a good touch, and he can finish with either right or left foot as well. So it's all about the delivery for me, and I'll just think that he gets frustrated because of the delivery not coming in. And I'll just think that if we're going to be creative, if we're going to do a lot better in that top third and get goals to win us games, we need that delivery to be right. And I just think that that's one of the biggest things that we could say that we need to improve on a lot, is that delivery from the wide areas or from central areas.
Well, let's bring Wardy in on that, because as we were chatting about downstairs, Wardy, you obviously know from your time as a striker exactly the type of delivery that's required in there. It's going to be a bit different today because it's Johnny who is a right footer on the left-hand side. And so that opportunity that we saw there with Nuri getting in and putting the ball in might have to rely on Neto for that kind of early one in to that type of area.
Yeah, he might do. I think obviously naturally Johnny will want to check back on his right-hand side. But I think, Raul's played enough times with Johnny. He'll know his delivery and the type of ball he likes to put in the box. But just to touch on what Tom was saying and about, Raul up top, I think that there is that tendency that he does get a bit frustrated because he doesn't know when the ball's actually going to come into the box. And he tends to then drop quite deep to get involved in the game. And I think, as a centre forward, if once your winger or your fullback gets the ball wide and he gets it out of his feet and the ball's coming in, you can time your run off that. And I think you can get across defenders. I think, the more times they check or they come back out, you're doing 2, 3, 4 movements, and it can get a little bit frustrating for him. I think you look at the goal he gets the other night, he's in the right area, but he's in there because he knows the ball's going to come in early, and I think that's massive for him as a centre forward. Getting that relationship with the wingers, with the fullbacks, just demanding that they put the ball in the box because he is a goal scorer. He is a number 9. As Tomo said there, he could score with his head, he could score with both feet. And I think Wolves need to maybe do that just a little bit more. Just make Newcastle defend today, get the ball in there, because if the delivery's right and they've got plenty of quality in the wide areas, they've got, both sides of the pitch have the ability to put a good ball into the box, he will get on the end of something.
Well, one man who used to do that regularly for him was Adama Traore. He picked up a goal the other night as well. Tomo, we were quite critical of Adama at Spurs a week ago. Did he answer the questions that you had of him on Tuesday night?
There's no doubt about the questions what I've got about him. So at the end of the day, he's a quality player. But I think that he's got to get the right frame of mind. So we watched him against Tottenham, and he was standing next to Johnny at some stages of the game. And so, look, we don't want him in those positions. We want him up into that top third, getting the ball to feet, making the space and time for himself and running at teams. We don't want to see him passing the ball or doing something else with it. As you saw there with the goal, what a finish that is. And if that doesn't give him confidence, look, nothing is. But we need more from him. We can see that he's going to cause teams problems with the pace that he's got. Again today. So look, I know he's on the bench, but he's got to try and establish himself in this team again. He's come back from Barcelona on loan, and look, that was his ideal move to go to there. Unfortunately, he's had to come back. But for me, he's just got to try his best and do what he can to try and get himself either a new contract here or a club at the end of the season for himself when his contract's up. But there's no doubt about it. The ability, what he's got, and the pace that he's got is going to scare anybody. But it's making sure that he puts his mind to it and making sure that he gives us as much as he can towards the end of the season.
Wardy, did you have to mark Traore?
I did once, yeah. Yeah. I had a sleepless night before the game, and thankfully he was on the bench, so I think he only come on for 7 minutes. So yeah, I did. It was actually when he was at Middlesbrough. But listen, speaking about the player, he's got everything. You know, power, strength. You know, I think his decision making and his final ball has improved over the last couple of years. Still can probably go to that next level. But for me, I agree with Tomo said. Because of his running power and his strength and his pace, I think he does tend to come quite deep and quite close to his actual fullback. You know, Wolves want to get him on the ball. You know, when he comes on as an impact player, or whether he starts in the team, you know, they want to get him on the ball high up the pitch, where he doesn't have he doesn't have to think about it. He can just take his player on and provide into the box. That's when he's at his best. You know, he's a fullback's nightmare. Like, let me tell you, I did have a sleepless night thinking, you know, this guy could absolutely ruin me tomorrow. Like, you know, I was worried. Thankfully, like I said, he didn't start. But, you know, fullbacks don't like playing against that pace and that power, because if he takes you on down the line, no matter what you do, he's got, you know, 90% chance he's going to get the better of you. So the higher he can get on the ball of the pitch, the less time he has to think about his decision. And for me, it would just be take your fullback on, cross the ball. The more cross he gets in the box, you know, the more production he will get in there. And hopefully the quality will be good enough to get, you know, Raul or someone on the end of it.
Because we've seen many a time as well the amount of players that are around him, and it tells you that. And you touched on it as well, Mike, the other day, saying if he's got 3 players around him, there's got to be a spare player somewhere else, and that's what he brings to the game. So look, if he's a threat, he's a genuine threat. But I'd just like to see him doing what he did a couple of years back when he was supplying all those crosses and deliveries for Jimenez into the box. And he was unstoppable at times. And that's what we want from him.
Yeah, Tomo, I completely agree with that as well. And I think it did suit him, Nuno's style of playing on the counter-attack, because there was, you know, Wolves would sit deep and then he could get him in behind and he could use his pace. He's going to have to figure out how he plays to get into this team, because he's such a threat when Wolves are in possession. But he's going to have to work out the areas he's going to have to be to get on the ball, because it's a different style. You know, it'll be a different build-up. So he will have to learn that side, because he should really, with the talent he has, be in this team.
One player who might offer an option from the bench alongside Adama Traore is Hee-Chan Hwang. He scored 2 the last time these two met here at Molineux.
Raul Jimenez. He's managed to climb over the top of Longstaff and continues on. And now Hwang into the penalty area. Low finish. Oh, beautiful! What a beautiful goal! Hee-Chan Hwang has his first at Molineux. Beautiful finish. Brilliant work by Raul Jimenez to set him away. Slid it into his path, right-hand side of the penalty area. And a sublime finish under the goalkeeper, rolling into the far corner. Wolves 1, Newcastle 0. Oh, he could have played into the path of Semedo, chose to work it back instead, and Moutinho lining one up. Not a bad effort. Forced a flying save from Darlow to his left-hand side. Taken on by Clark. And then Moutinho and Neves both slid in. And Wolves now might try and launch a counter. Neves releasing Hwang. Hwang up left-hand side of the penalty area. Men arriving. It's going to come all the way through to Trincao! Off the underside of the crossbar. Referee looks towards the watch. No goal. Didn't cross the line. Trying to dribble through the middle. Saint-Maximin up towards the edge of the penalty area. Now feeding on towards Joe Linton. Jose Sarr really brave, and he's been caught there and he stayed down, and referee needs to stop things. Jose Sarr has picked himself up. Hendrick to strike it, and it's in. And Newcastle have got themselves an equaliser. And Graham Scott didn't stop play when Jose Sarr was down injured. They're doing so again because Ritchie down the line for Joe Linton, and Wolves have gone to sleep for a second, and that's a dangerous cross, and it's going to bounce, and that's a massive save by Jose Sarr to deny Saint-Maximin from close range. Saint-Maximin still has it up against Semedo. His cross knocks the face of Max Kilman and sends him stumbling to the ground. Nice turn from Raul Jimenez, skips away from a challenge onto Hwang. Hwang into the penalty area on his left foot. He's done it again! Hee-Chan Hwang! What a finish! What a game he is having! The South Korean strikes in front of the South Bank and restores Wolves' lead. And it's almost a carbon copy of the first goal. Jimenez releasing him, finding the bottom corner. Wolves 2, Newcastle 1.
We're at Molineux again this afternoon for our 4th Premier League game of the season as we face Eddie Howe's Newcastle United. The last time they were here at Molineux, we broke that 1-1 curse after 5 consecutive matches ending in the same result with a 2-1 win here thanks to a Hee-Chan Hwang brace. We've only lost once to Newcastle United since 2018, but that was our most recent meeting at St James's Park back in April. Newcastle United have started the season really well. They've got a win and 2 draws under their belt so far, so they are unbeaten in the season as it started. They found themselves 3-1 up last weekend to reigning champions Manchester City, but the game did end 3-3 in the end. They've been at their best at home, however, having a bit of a scare midweek when they travelled to Tranmere Rovers. The League Two side took the lead in the first half, but the Magpies did pull it back to progress into the next round of the Carabao Cup. Today, we're going to hope to pounce on that slight weakness on the road with a roaring Molineux here this afternoon as we seek out that first Premier League win of the season.
Gemma Frith with this game in context. So here at Molineux, it's the Wolves men's side against Newcastle. A little bit further north, Wolves women are in action against Huddersfield, their second league game of the campaign. This season, we are offering free radio commentary of the Wolves women's games. Just head to wolves.co.uk for all the details. It is well worth following what they get up to, because if it's based on last year, we're in for plenty of entertaining goals. So Wolves Remain commentary available for you at wolves.co.uk and find the Wolves app. And of course, it's also the place to go to listen to the three of us commentate on this game here for Molineux this afternoon against a Newcastle team, Tomo, who have started the season very well indeed. Won huge amount of plaudits for the way they played against Manchester City a week ago. They're a different beast these days, aren't they? They've got a bit of funding behind them and they're expected to be right up there pushing.
Yeah, they are. So, look, massive investments in the club. Eddie Howe's come in and say, look, all of a sudden, he's give confidence to the players that are here, but he's also brought in some quality players as well. And that's going to be a big difference for him. So, look, I know that he's coming in and say, look, he wants these certain kind of players. He probably hasn't got all his targets that he was after, but he's still been able to bring in some quality players. And look, it's going to be a tough game this afternoon. So it's going to be tough against Newcastle with the confidence that they've got and the way that they've played or started the season. But there's no reason why we can't go out there and get a result against them. So we've got some quality players in there as well. And I've said this to you before, you look at the benches and that gives you some idea. And our bench is very strong for what can be brought on and to change the games. We've just got to have that belief. We've just got to have that belief and that confidence in that top end of the pitch. Because, apart from that, we've played reasonably well, but that's the area that has always been a problem for us since we've come into the Premier League.
What are the key threats, Stephen Ward, and how do you stop Newcastle from getting at Wolves today?
Listen, first, I think Newcastle have had a great start to the season. I think the result last week showed exactly what they're all about, and I think it'll be a similar game plan for them today. They're very much a counter-attack team. They sit in, they get the ball forward, and then they have the pace of St. Maximin and Almiron who can take them up the pitch. So they're the two real players I think today Wolves are going to have to keep an eye on, because if they're on it, they make Newcastle tick. They're a threat running with the ball, they're a threat running in behind, the pace they have. So I feel like Newcastle will sit in, allow Wolves to have the ball and look to hit them on the counter-attack. So that's the key area for me today. The key area is if they can minimise the influence that those two players have on the game, then I think Wolves will have a great chance today.
Yeah, and I know Callum Wilson's out to the team for Newcastle. We've got Chris Wood, who's always a problem to us. So against us when he plays us.
He does. He loves it down here, Woodsy, doesn't he? But yeah, he's a different threat to Callum Wilson. I think Chris will play more as a number 9. I think Wilson likes to go in behind. So I think that'll be a good battle between himself, Kilman, and Nathan Collins today. But listen, Wolves have got plenty in that team today to cause Newcastle a lot of threats. So I think a key thing as well, like you said, Thomas, the bench, Wolves' bench looks a lot stronger. It's really strong. There's a lot of options to come off the bench. So I think it'll be a really competitive, exciting game, but one that I think Wolves should be very confident of taking something from.
One interesting battle. Interested in both of your thoughts on this. Tomo, you can go first. Dan Burn at left back. You and I watched Adama Traore absolutely tear him to pieces when he played in that role for Brighton a couple of years ago. Gonzalo Guedes will be a different type, but he is direct. Is that a key area, a key battle today? Guedes against Burn, perhaps?
I think it is. So look, the times that we have seen an out-and-out winger against Burn when he has played left back, so they have got at him and they've caused him massive problems. As you touched on there, Traore, I remember he must have been having nightmares the game after it, because he absolutely tore him to pieces. But that's what you've got to do. So you've got to look at the team that Newcastle have got. You've got to look at our strengths. Say Semedo down that right-hand side as well. Say who's going to be a problem, and we know that he likes to bomb on. So look, we've got to utilise these players down there. We've got to be able to get at them, maybe 2-against-1 scenarios as well. Can we get the ball into the box? We've got Jimenez in there as well, who's going to cause them a problem, hopefully. But that's what it's all about, making sure that you're pushing Newcastle back. Don't give Newcastle all the time and space that you can, because they'll cause problems. They've got Trippier, who's anything around the box is going to cause a problem. He scored an absolute world-class goal last week. We've just got to be careful that we don't get silly. Make sure we do professional. But if we get an opportunity, can we get at them?
Go on, Waddy.
Yeah, no, completely agree. I think, listen, what's massive for Wolves today is when they do get into that final third, make Newcastle defend. Don't make it easy for them by turning back out and trying to get down the other side or score that perfect goal. Make sure their two centre-halves know they've been in the game today. Get that ball in the box, make them defend, because Newcastle won't mind Wolves having the ball today. They won't mind Wolves having the ball up to a certain part of the pitch because they will look to hit Wolves on the counter-attack. So they're going to have to be very, very productive in their play today, that when they get into that Newcastle's half, they're creating something, winning a corner, making them defend, because if you're turning the ball over easy, we know exactly what Newcastle will do. They'll get it wide, they'll get it to Almiron, they'll get it to St. Maximin, who will take them up the pitch, and they will cause problems. So Wolves have to be productive in the final third today.
That's the thing, isn't it? And I wonder how easy that is to achieve. We know that Wolves can play. We know that they're good at pushing teams back, but they just seem to have this bizarre record of when they have 60% or more possession, invariably they don't tend to win games, which is a weird stat, really, because you'd imagine if you're controlling a game so much, you'd be in the ascendancy. So how do they change their mindset, both of you? Wardy, you can go first on actually when they get into that final third, being proactive and making something happen.
Well, you'd hope it's something they've worked hard this week in the training pitch. I think the manager will have, and his staff will have looked at the games. Like I said, they're controlling the ball, they're controlling territory. They are controlling a lot of the game, a lot of the ball. It's just maybe that final part, and I'm sure they will have looked on maybe final third entries, crosses in the box, and they want to get these stats up because, listen, it's not rocket science. The more times you cross the ball into the box, you better chance you have of scoring. So they need to be doing that on a regular, consistent basis because they do get into great areas of the pitch. And sometimes I find when I do watch the team, they maybe let the opposition off the hook by coming back out, recycling through midfield. Even sometimes they go as far back as the centre-backs. They recycle the ball, which is great at times because, like I said, they're making the other team work. They're shuffling across the pitch. But sometimes just when you get in that area, and we spoke about it earlier, Jimenez wants the ball in the box. If he knows when they get in and around that area, of the pitch, they're going to put the ball in, and that's just, I think, something hopefully they will have seen and they'll have focused on this week, and hopefully there'll be more production in that area of the pitch because that's all that's missing really at the minute.
Yeah, so echoing some of what he said about the delivery and putting the ball into the right areas. Somebody having a gamble, somebody trying to anticipate what's going on. We saw it the other night. We're playing against Preston. The ball's gone up. The centre half's in trouble. All he can do is head it down into an area, and we're still standing watching the ball. And that's where we've got to be willing to just go forward, take that gamble, have a go, but commit players into it. It's all about just being creative in that top third.
I'm sorry, I just got distracted. They've got some young kids out who are holding up the Premier League banners and the sprinklers have come on.
I think that flag in the centre circle looks very heavy now, doesn't it?
You can't pick it up now.
It's like a swimming pool.
It's them. It's the Premier League one down in front of us as well. It's all going on here. Very loud and noisy, Molyneux. Let's take a quick look, by the way, at a very famous game between these two that took place a long time ago. It was a match that kick-started a season, really, and maybe changed the future of a football club. These are the kind of matches, these are the kind of moments where big things can happen. Wolves against Newcastle, it's a famous fixture. There's Lee Naylor trying to jump over. I knew he'd get involved somewhere. We'd be gutted we're playing this and he's not here. Tomo, as ever, what are you thinking score-wise? Who's going to be the key player for Wolves today?
Well, I'm hoping that Nunez is going to be good in midfield area because they're pretty strong in midfield, Newcastle. So that's going to be hard there. But it's just going to be that we just need to take our opportunities. Can we just be brave in that top third? And it's all about the delivery, taking shots, getting bodies in there. I'm going to go my usual. I went 3-1 last week. I'm going to go 2-1 Wolves today.
Wardy, what are you thinking today and who's going to be key?
To be honest, I'm excited to watch Guedes play. I think he's come with a big reputation. He's a talented footballer, and I think I'm really looking forward to watching him live. For me, Wolves can beat anyone at home. I think it's a massive game. Hopefully, they can kickstart the season. I think if they can get the first goal, especially, it's going to be huge, and they can build on that. And for me, 2-0 Wolves, I think, today.
Just loving watching some of these balls into the box as well, and Wolves players attacking them. Hopefully, we'll see plenty of that today. There is more from Tomo and Stephen Ward on our full radio commentary available for free at wolves.co.uk and on the move via the Wolves app as well. We'll be there in just a couple of minutes' time. Teams will be out here shortly at Molyneux. Hopefully, today is the day that Wolves can get 3 points and get our season up and running.
See, the law of this jungle is as old and as real as the sky, and the wolf that abides will prosper, but a wolf that breaks it will die. You see, out here in this jungle, we run it forward and back For the strength of the pack is the wolf, and the strength of the wolf is the pack. I used to run with the pack, nowadays I run for the pack. Represent from the front to the back, balls in my heart, my city on the map. I was in the field, you're sitting on the bench. See me in the gym, rep till I'm bench. Sweat till I win, that's a victory stench. Yeah, we stay ready for the war, man, I settle in the score. Right now I'm with the hype, I ain't in it for the light. I was down to the ground, now I'm up for the fight. Seaside at the dark, now it's into the light. Alpha mode, down for my team. I wake up and I'm chasing a dream. Dumb dirt when my crap stay clean. Step for me, rude boy, I am me. Look at my count with the verses. Been cheating him and I'm on a verse with. Prize fighter, I'm taking the purses. Death match and your family in hearses. The law of this jungle, we run it forward.